The day is finally here. Jamie has finished his EDC kit as promised, and I'm really excited to get a look inside of Jamie's mind as to what tools he thinks are essential. And there's two reasons I'm excited about this. One, if you guys know anything about Jamie, he's a very methodical, well thought out guy. So I'm sure that there are things in this pouch that I'm gonna learn and probably adopt for my own kit. But I'm also really excited for you to stop poaching my kit.
That's a little rude, I think. It's a little rude.
For years, I have my kit and we work together a lot and we use my kit a lot, so.
I've probably used batteries and tweezers a little bit too many times, but.
Yeah, here we are though.
Yeah,
here we are.
We're here.
I think we're gonna kick it off is, we're gonna talk about some things that we both agree on should be in anybody's kit. It doesn't matter what you're doing. So if you're looking to build a kit, if you're looking to maximize your kit, we have some insight into that I think would be really helpful. And the first thing isn't something that we disagree on, but Correct. It is something that we carry differently, which I think is really cool. And that's a good multi-tool. In my EDC kit, if you guys want, we've got a whole video on the channel. You guys can check out everything I carry and why I carry it. I keep a Leatherman Wave in my kit, but you keep a Leatherman P2, in your pocket, which is pretty rad.
So I carry a free P2. It's been interesting because I've gone to this carry a bug out all the time, and then carry a bug out and a free P2. And now I'm kind of in this stage in life where I'm like, you know, this has a knife blade on it. Why do I even need a knife in my pocket? So I've kind of bulked up and then slimmed down a little bit. So currently I'm just carrying a free P2 and it's great. It's got screwdrivers, it's got pliers, it's got kind of all the tools I need
Scissors,
to do my job.
It's got all the, exactly.
Yeah, multi-tool in my pocket versus you carry it in your kit.
In my kit, yeah. And we have also have a video on EDC systems, and I think we both really coalesce on those ideas, right? Is the things that we carry in our pocket, every time that we're carrying a new piece of gear, it should compound and complement the other things that we have. So in my opinion, I think in both of our opinions, you don't need 6 knives in different places all the time, right? Like I don't need 6 folding knives on me. But for me, to have a folding knife and then to have a couple tools is really helpful. And you kind of just put them both in one, and that's what you're doing with your pockets. So the first, for any EDC kit or for your pocket, multi-tool.
Multi-tool,
right?
Agreed.
Okay, cool. Now, everybody's seen my gear. So let's use your kit to talk about some of these other essentials that we're going with. And I want to start with your battery, because I actually think this is something that isn't talked about enough in the EDC world, in my opinion, and I think that it's something that is actually really essential. You guys have heard us say on the channel a lot that your phone is probably one of the most useful EDC tools that most of us use on a daily basis. Tell us about your battery and why you went with this specific battery, because I think for most people this is too much battery, but you have very valid reasons, right?
I would say for the vast majority of people, especially my battery situation, is probably not gonna be for you unless you are probably like a creative or somebody that works remote a lot, or you're somebody in that category.
Yeah, you're working off your laptop a lot.
Exactly.
Right?
So I'm gonna save these little chargers for later.
Great. And while he's pulling that out, I want to stress that, and we say this in every EDC video that we do, your EDC needs to be dependent on your needs and what you're doing. What we're recommending are the basics, but it doesn't mean this exact gear. So Jamie's battery is insane. It's more battery than I need. So tell me about it.
I think this is more battery than probably most people need. But so this is an Anker 737. I think it's 24,000 milliamp hours. Yours is 20,000. So this is a big battery. But the cool thing about this one is it actually outputs 140 watts.
Yeah.
So I can charge full speed like a MacBook or most Windows PCs off of this particular battery.
Yeah.
And I think you could probably charge your phone probably 6 or 7 times on it. If you have an iPad, you could probably get 2 charges out of it. Like, this is a beast of a battery. And it takes up a good chunk of my EDC kit.
Right.
But I think for me, this is almost a necessity to keep everything charged. I'm just looking around the things on set here. Like, I have cameras that can run off this. I have these microphones. I've got other gear in my bag in there. I've got a laptop, I've got a phone, I've got an Apple Watch. I've got all of these things that I can power off of this. So it's pretty cool. It's got enough ports to do all that stuff, and it's huge.
Yeah, huge. I think, though, everybody should have a battery pack in their EDC kit to keep themselves prepared on the daily.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. I think everybody needs some way to at least get 1 or 2 charges out of their phone.
Out of their phone, exactly. So multi-tool, battery, the EDC kit or pocket essentials, right? What's the next thing from there? I think that we were talking about this earlier. I think that we both agreed was tape. Yeah. That was kind of the next thing. We were talking a lot about this, is like, what is the next thing? And in our experience, it's like you need a way to keep one of your most useful tools, your phone, running, right? For everybody. We think this is everybody. We should keep your phone running, charge your AirPods, whatever, right? That type of thing. You need a tool to be able to take stuff apart or put stuff together, but it also is really handy to have something to just attach something to something when you need to, right?
Exactly.
Like tape a note up or like put two things together, and tape is just really useful for that type of thing.
Fasteners, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I took some advice off of, I don't know if it was Reddit or if it was YouTube comments or whatever, but I actually have 2 different types of tape on a lighter. So I've wrapped it around my lighter. I have gaff tape. So gaff tape is great because it's pretty sticky, but it doesn't take paint off walls and do all that stuff. And then of course some electrical tape, because you gotta have electrical tape.
You always got electrical tape. I use electrical tape as bandages. We're gonna get into some of your first aid stuff, which is really cool. Jamie's been able to integrate a lot into this kit, which is exciting. But yeah, tape of some sort. I'm a big electrical tape guy, but obviously gaff tape is also, it's a great useful tape. So we've got multi-tool, we've got battery, we've got tape as core essentials for anybody's kit. And then the last thing, you guys have heard me preach this a lot. Jamie's ended up on this train as well. What's the last thing that we both agreed on?
What was the last? Oh yeah,
Spork.
Spork. Well, Spork, and I think one other thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, we were on the fence on, which will jump us into the more specifics of what Jamie has going on here.
So Spork, right? I don't know how often I will use this yet, because this is like a new everyday addition for me. So I have a titanium Spork.
Yeah.
And I think it will come in handy because I feel like there's been a few times where it's like, okay, either I don't buy something at a store because I don't have the means to eat it, or I forgot about it when I do get that thing, and I feel like I'm gonna use it, but I'm not positive yet.
Right, because this is a brand new kit for you, right?
Yeah.
But you have seen me use mine a lot.
Exactly.
And you have used mine a
I have
handful
used
of times. So it's come in handy. It's come in handy.
Exactly.
You know what I am disappointed about? I think in myself, in all of my MacGyver moments, I have never used my Spork for anything but eating. And I feel like I need to overcome that. Like I need to like dig up a treasure or something with it, you know what I mean? But maybe one day. But I do use mine a lot. You've even used mine a couple times.
I've used yours a couple of years.
Yeah.
I've used that specific Spork many times outside of in an EDC kit situation.
Of course, yeah, backpacking and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Those are the core essentials. We kind of teased it, so let's just jump into it. And then I want to talk about the case that you have everything in here, and then we'll start jumping through your pockets. But another thing that we were talking about was pens, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't like have a lot of things in your pocket. You've always been very minimalist. You don't carry a pen in your pocket every day, right? I do. I carry a pen in my pocket and a notebook in my pocket every day. So you've put a pen in your EDC kit, and it's kind of a cool pen, so you got to show it off, right? Like.
Yeah. So you actually got this for me.
I did
years ago. This is a James brand pen. It's just got a typical ballpoint insert into it. I don't even think it's like a space pen or anything like that. I specifically went for a ballpoint pen for, I think a main reason is I feel like it writes on the most variety of things.
And that's actually really fair. There have been multiple times where I've because I usually carry a gel just by default. Mm-hmm. I like writing with gels and I write a lot. Where I've had to write something on a plastic bag for a shoot or something, right? Yeah. And it's like immediately smears, and I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks, right?
Exactly.
Like,
So I don't know if you've ever tried to sign a credit card with a gel pen; it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So yeah, let us know, pen in the pocket or pen in the EDC kit, because I'm like pen in the pocket. Like you gotta, at minimum you're probably signing a couple receipts, right? Like every now and again. I'm a pen in the pocket guy, but Jamie, pen in the EDC kit.
I don't like a ton of stuff in my pockets. Like even the multi-tool for me is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's got enough functionality to overcome that downside for me. So pen goes in the EDC kit.
Yeah, for sure. There have been times where I've given Jamie my pen out of my pocket, and then I've used the pen out of my compact when we've had to fill out forms and stuff like that. So,
I got one of those now, though.
Yeah, exactly. He's ready now. He's ready.
Teaser.
We kind of covered the basics of what everybody should have. Maybe a pen, maybe not. Let us know how you guys would do that. Let's talk about the case that you have, because my case is just a cheap $15 Target case. Mm-hmm. I think I've had it for like 3 or 4 years, and the thing just keeps going. It's getting a little ugly, which is fine. But you've got a new fancy case. So why this case? What is it? What's the story?
So I know we've been crushing on Alpaka stuff for a while now.
Yeah.
You obviously have
they make some great stuff.
The Alpaka pouch that you use for your wallet.
Yep.
So I went and got the Alpaka Tech Case Mini. Alpaka's not a sponsor of the channel. They should be.
Yeah, they should be. Hey, Alpaka, sponsor the channel.
Sponsor the channel. We just really like their stuff. So this is the Alpaka Tech Case Mini, and it's got great materials. The zippers are high quality. I think everything that they make is just super high quality. Everything that they make is very well thought out.
Yes.
So if you just kind of look at the inside of this and the outside, so this is where I keep my battery here. The inside has a bunch of different zipper pouches, and it's not squared off like yours is, so it has room to kind of bow out and flex, right? Which I think for this battery, you need that.
Essential. So this is mine. I don't have my battery in because it would slide out, but this is what my kit looks like on the inside. So I have some nice dividers and stuff as well. I like that mine opens up all the way, but I completely agree with the rounded here because once my battery and my cord are in here, my pack is it's bloat. It's very, very full. Right. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's the Alpaka Tech Case Mini is what I ended up landing. It does have a strap too, so if you want to do the whole cool satchel man thing, you can do that.
Which is rad. So in my EDC kit video, we had a lot of comments of people, basically once the video started getting a lot of views, a lot of people who don't watch the channel regularly stumbled on the video. And a lot of people were like, what, do you carry it around like a purse? Do you put it in your pocket? Like, I don't carry it around like a purse. I don't put it in my pocket. Usually I drop it in a bag or I keep it in the vehicle that I'm traveling in. But that's something that I think is actually really awesome about this, because it allows this kit that you've built to be standalone in that, like, it's kind of like a summit pack, right? It's that mentality of like, I'm gonna go out for the day, or I'm gonna do this thing or whatever. And it's like, you could wear it as like a man purse or a man satchel or whatever.
Like if you wanted to walk around the state fair for the day or, something like that, you totally could.
Totally ready, which I think is pretty cool. And that is a drawback to mine. Like, I'm not gonna like walk around like this all day with my little pouch, you know what I mean? So I think that's really cool. All right, so you have all these pockets. Let's just start, I mean, whatever order you want, but maybe just let's start in the front fold and work our way across.
Right, so I think the only thing I do have, just going along with the battery, right?
Of course.
Like, you gotta have a way to charge your battery.
Completely agree.
So I have this, I think it's a 65 watt Anker. It's like their Nano 2 series. There's a few different things in the Nano series, but this is the 65 watt charger. It's tiny for 65 watts. It'll charge this battery in probably 2-3 hours, so. Yeah. It's a big battery, so
really
you need
amazing.
a fast charger.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I have to charge my battery, and then there's a USB Type-C, there we go.
Yeah.
Cable in there.
Yeah.
I have this Olight, so this is an i3t EOS. Yours is much worse off than mine is.
It's much worse off.
Mine looks pretty good. It's been sitting in a drawer for a while. It's like, oh, this is a great application for this.
Exactly.
So this runs off of a AAA. I think it has 2 brightness settings.
Yeah.
It's pretty bright. I don't carry a flashlight in my pocket. Kind of the same idea behind the pen is just I don't like a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I do have basically a flashlight in my pocket. It's not the greatest, but I have a phone. So it kind of sort of works.
So just a quick story. I was traveling recently, and there was a cave off to the side of the road, right? I'd been swimming, and so I had swim trunks on, so I didn't have I didn't have any pockets in, right? But I was like, oh, cave, well, I gotta go, right? So I grabbed my phone so I could take a picture, and I go in the cave, and obviously it's a cave, it's dark, right? And I have never used the flashlight on my phone, ever. Literally never, because I always have a flashlight in my pocket. And I went to go use that flashlight in the cave, utterly useless. Like, all of you guys who say, I don't carry a flashlight because I have my phone, no, I don't agree. I don't agree.
They have a very spread pattern. They don't throw very far.
So I'm excited to see you add a flashlight to the kit.
So we have
here.
a flashlight in there. I do have another AAA right beside it. Of course. As a replacement in case I need a replacement. You've seen the pen. Kind of along the charging line of things, I have this braided lightning cable because I have an iPhone and I have to have a lightning cable.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. But so I have this short braided Anker cable that I use to charge my iPhone.
And when choosing your cables, you want to make sure that you're choosing cables that will actually charge, right? Because you have this super wazoo battery, right? But like, if you were trying to charge it off of a cable that can only put so much juice, the batteries, it's not worthless, but it's definitely not nearly as useful.
Buy good cables, because you're gonna get a lot of cheap, crappy cables, and the USB standard is a little hairy to navigate through, so make sure you're buying a cable that can charge at the full wattage that your battery can output as.
Exactly.
Or at the full wattage that your device that you're plugging into can charge as.
That's a silly choke point to have, right?
Yeah. In here, I just have a kind of a stubby Apple Watch charger with an extension. I found out that this isn't a fast Apple Watch charger, so I'm probably gonna change this out at some point, but at least I have a way to charge my watch on the go. That kind of rounds out all the charging stuff. So I kind of have this separated into a little, like, kind of sections here. So I have kind of more of the charging stuff that leans this way. I have more of the first aid stuff in this zipper pouch, and then everything else, I guess, over here. So let's go back to the middle. I have a notepad, more for just paper.
Yeah.
I don't really take a lot of notes via a notepad, but I've been around you for too long, and and you're just like, it's just nice to have a piece of paper sometimes and a pen, right? Just to like, oh, I bumped into somebody, I need to leave a note on their window. There's an infinite amount of reasons to have a piece of paper on you.
Yeah, even if you're not a note taker, I completely agree. Like, it's just really nice to be like, like, hey, I stopped by at this time or whatever, right?
Notepad, super handy to have. I think you don't have this.
Yep.
And I was thinking about this. So I have quite a few credit cards.
And just mountains of credit cards. No, I'm just kidding.
0 credit card debt, actually. So I have a few spares. So one of my spares is an Apple card. It doesn't really matter that it's an Apple card, but I have a spare Apple card. This has 0 foreign transaction fees and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, hey, if I lose my wallet, I will have the ability to pay for something in my EDC kit. So I do this a little bit when I travel, as I'll put a credit card in my bag.
Yeah.
So if I'm out and about and my wallet disappears, I at least have a way to pay for gas and all of the vacation things that I'm, doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So same type of deal here with this specific card. Along with that, I put just 20 bucks in cash in here.
Yeah. In the course of Jamie doesn't keep things in his pocket, Jamie never has cash.
I never have cash.
Yeah,
So on the odd chance that I, go to a food truck or I need to leave a tip with somebody or something like that, I'll have a chunk of cash here, which is pretty dope.
Or if we get stuck in Spokane, Washington, and we have to go to a show and I have to pay for him.
Hey, I had cash that time.
Yeah, he actually did have cash. It's like the one time he had cash.
Going back to this outer pocket here, I keep just a little piece of paracord. I think string is kind of handy to have.
Yeah.
And especially paracord, because paracord you essentially have 2 strings. So you have the big 550 cord, and then you have the cores. So you can cut off a chunk, you can core it and get a little itty bitty piece of string.
I agree with that. Now in my kit, I don't carry string specifically for the reason that I've actually found electrical tape to be pretty stringy when you need it to be.
Sure.
I picked up that chopper a few years ago and it had a loose gas tank on it. I literally just took my electrical tape and wrapped it a couple times, and it's been on there for 2 years, and I've moved that bike a bunch, and it's great, right?
Yeah.
But I do like your reasoning with the string. I think that's really cool.
I think the last thing I got in here in this outside pocket is a knife.
Yeah.
So I threw a Cold Steel Lucky in there.
Dude.
So the Cold Steel Lucky's kind of a cool little knife.
It's a cool knife.
I don't really use it. It's just a little slip joint, but it's got a serrated end, which is handy for certain things, and a plain edge. And I think the thing for me was it was small and it was slim and it wasn't gonna, bulk up my EDC.
And
kit.
Lynn Thompson gave it to you.
And Lynn Thompson gave it to me.
Which is pretty rad.
So that's pretty cool. So I just have a Cold Steel Lucky in there, and I kind of like it. If I need to, it's got a pocket clip so I can throw it in my pocket if I'm out and about.
It's a great little knife. And I think that when we're talking pocket to kit, I think that it is good to have a few redundancies, right? So for example, my pockets, I have a pocket knife on me, and then I have a couple tools that I've just found to be kind of indispensable. When you get any of my videos that I do a pocket check, you guys can see that. Yours is kind of the other way around, which I think is interesting. You've got a bulk of tool in your pocket, and then in your kit, you're carrying a solo knife and you have a little set of tools, which I think is really cool. So what did you go for a little set of tools? Because I know you were back and forth on this quite a bit, right?
I was thinking and going through a few solutions. It's like, okay, I could put a Swiss Army knife in here, but it's a little bit bigger, I guess.
Well, and it's like another knife blade, it's another this, and it's another that, right?
So there's that, and then I was also like, okay, I want to be able to fly with this thing.
Cool, okay.
So obviously, as it sits right now, I can't.
Right,
but
of course.
Basically, I can go in here, I can remove 2 things, lighter, knife, and theoretically, put that out there, theoretically, I should be able to fly with this kit by removing those 2 things.
You never know with TSA.
So theoretically, this should be TSA safe. This is the Swiss card, but it is the nail care version of the Swiss card. So it doesn't have
that little file knife thing in it.
Yeah, it doesn't have the knife. It does have a file.
Right.
So it's got this glass file.
Cool.
It has a pen.
Oh, yes.
It has a toothpick.
I'm noticing a trend here. Okay.
This is the cool part, it's got the tweezers and a pin.
Bro, did you just get a non-redundant compact? Is that what you did here?
It's great.
I love it.
And also, if you get a really bitty tweezers, or a really bitty sliver, you got a magnifying glass on here that you can really get in there and look. So
that's cool.
I think I got this mainly because slivers happen every once in a while, and getting them out is a huge pain, especially if you don't have anything on you. So having this on you is great. It also has a scissors on it, which is cool. Which is pretty dope.
Yeah, handy.
So.
Again, if you're thinking about traveling, right, your Leatherman's gone, right? So scissors is gone. Obviously, knife blade can't fly with knife blades anyways. Your scissors are gone there, right? Like any other little tools are gone. Your Lucky's gone, right? So with this though, you have scissors, so you do have the ability to cut, right?
Exactly.
If you have to cut almost anything. You have the ability to open package, do whatever, right? And you still have all of those cool compact tools that I love so much in my compact, right?
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool.
Oh, speaking of your compact, I forgot one thing. It does have this 4-pronged screwdriver thing. So it does have some screwdriver ability
handy.
too.
Dude.
I feel like this thing is pretty underrated.
Dude, that's actually really, so you're probably the same as me, but for me, I don't know, I was probably 10 or 11 when I discovered these, maybe 12. And dude, it went right in my Batman wallet. Like, I was like, I am MacGyver with this thing. My Batman wallet, by the way, with the chain, because it had to have a chain, of course. And I carried that thing everywhere, but mine had the knife in it.
Yeah.
So this is really cool. This is actually really underrated, especially if we're thinking about, you know, being potentially TSA safe or being able to fly, or even just having a set of tools in a pack without maybe having your other tool on, right? Like, I love this as a redundancy. This is great.
I think that's the main reason why I went the Swiss card over just putting a Swiss Army knife in here, is so I can take this if I do fly somewhere.
You got me rethinking my carry and my EDC kit, bro. Like, this is cool.
And it's so thin too, so it just kind of slides in here and it works great.
It's thin and it's light. So when you're talking about carrying this thing around, it's not like it's like weighing you down, because your battery already is an Anker, literally.
Yeah, it's a big boy. And that might be something too where, like, if I'm traveling without my laptop, I might throw a smaller battery in here to lighten
sub it
things
out,
up.
right? Like, maybe have like a flying kit that just alters a little bit, and then a normal everyday kit.
I don't want to have too many things where I have to change out.
No,
it was kind of like, if you just remember the two things that are critical, then you can, you know, swap things out.
Technically,
and
you
then
should be safe.
You should be good for flying. I got to figure out a tape solution if I'm gonna do that, but since it's around my lighter. Anyway, the Swiss card, that kind of brings me into my little first aid section. So I have this zipper pouch here. I have some butterfly strips, some gauze, some Band-Aids. I do have some super glue, which is kind of first aid-y / just generally useful. I got just a couple other standard things in here. I have these little bee sting things that are hopefully handy if you get stung by something. I got ibuprofen, which is my pain reliever of choice, and then I have some Imodium. Nobody likes diarrhea, so. And then there is a small Swiss Army nail clipper in here. So
nail clippers can just be generally handy.
So nail clippers, super cool. I think you probably could get your nails clipped with the scissors on the, but it's a scissor. I don't like cutting my fingernails.
I know some guys even just do it with their pocket knife. That's just not my thing.
I don't know if people just have flatter fingernails than me, but like you end up folding your fingernails weird, and I don't like
Well, that's the thing is I also carry fingernail clippers, but you're on camera from time to time. I'm on camera a lot, for better or for worse. And like, even just right before this, I clip my fingernails, right? That's why it's in my EDC kit. Probably not for everybody, right? Some of this may not be. What I'm really excited to see here is your first aid stuff, because my first aid stuff is in a different little pouch, right? Like, I keep mine in a different little pouch because I like to keep that separate, because my pouch is set up in a way that I can throw it in my EDC bag, right? With my kit, because again, I don't carry this like a clutch. I can throw it so it's with me all the time, but this kit doesn't go backpacking with me, right? But my little pouch does. So I'm not packing and repacking first aid a lot. But I love to see this because, again, where you're considering this as a standalone, like, summit bag, right? As a travel bag or whatever. I love the idea that you also are prepared in that way. And something that you guys may not know about Jamie, I'm gonna out you right now, and I know you're gonna hate this.
Oh boy.
Jamie was actually a paramedic in a past life. So he actually knows some things, and we've been talking about potentially putting together kind of an EDC first aid video. So let us know if that's something you guys are interested in. I've got some training, I know some things, nothing close to Jamie. He has actual real experience. So we would have Jamie be the expert in that, and I know he hates that word, and that's okay. But he probably knows a heck of a lot more than most of us do. So if you guys like to see that video, let us know, because I'd love to hear your insights into that on what would actually be useful. Because I feel like YouTube's littered with just kind of silly, like, and then you do a trachea, like, cut, and it's like, no, nobody does that. Like, you don't do that, right? So I love seeing the first aid in there, not only from a personal perspective of knowing you, but seeing this kit as a standalone kit. I love seeing that first aid in there. I really like everything that you have here. Is there anything else to show?
No, I think that's basically it. I think I got everything that I put in here. This is kind of a newer venture for me, having like an EDC kit. I think it's gonna work out well for me, especially living in my backpack most of the time, but I'm also very interested on what you guys think somebody in my position should be carrying. I'm curious what you guys have to say in the comments.
I'd love to hear that. And I'd love to hear what your guys' kits look like and what you do, because I think this is something we talk about a lot with the channel in general is, I'm a very practical guy, right? And Jamie's also very practical, and Jamie's also very methodical, as you can see from this amazing kit. His kit blows my kit out of the wall. Go watch my video and then watch this video and tell me that Jamie's isn't just superior, because it is. But I really think that sometimes we get caught up in this carry as much as you can, right? Or like, oh, this guy said carry all these things, so I'm gonna carry all these things. But I really think that if you start small, pocket knife, pen, flashlight, start there, right? And then, okay, multi-tool. Like, what multi-tool is best for you, right? Like, what little this or that? Then you kind of graduate into this, like, carrying a kit that you're actually going to use and love, and that, like, is going to get beat up and worn out and all dirty and, like, you know, just beautiful, right? Like,
it's well loved.
It's well loved, right? And that's what your tools should be. You should know how to use them, and you should be using them regularly, in my opinion, right? That's a big thing. So, dude, awesome kit, absolutely stellar. I knew that this would be a really cool one to look at. And we'd kind of talked a little bit beforehand.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So I knew some of the stuff was coming, but I really love to see how you put it together. I think this Alpaka case is perfect. Again, Alpaka sponsor us. We just love your stuff anyways, but hey, it'd be fun to partner up. Yeah, I think it's everything.
Dope.
Thanks, guys. Tell us what you're carrying. Tell us what you do. We'll catch you on the next one.